Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. And yes, today I am still scrapping my December project. Now, I had originally decided that I was going to scrapbook some normal, regular old photos, but it was a rough day at work, guys, and I need to feel a little Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see what I can do. All right, so my original plan was to take each of these photos. One is a photo of 3 glass Christmas trees that come out every Christmas, and then one is a photo of the newest Lego addition to our Christmassy, wintry Lego village thing. So I was going to do one photo at the top and one photo at the bottom. However, I pull out this stamp set. This is from Brutus Monroe, and let me sort through the piles here, and I can tell you what its name is. It is Ho Ho Ho. So I get the stamp set out, and I think, ooh, I can stamp and emboss on vellum, and put this on the bottom of my my little card about the glass Christmas trees. So I end up doing that. I end up stamping it, and I am using an anti-static powder tool right there so that the embossing powder won't stick anywhere but where the embossing ink is. And I'm going to ink that up really nicely and place it down in my MISTI. And then I can see that the embossing ink is really, really on there. I did just re-ink my embossing ink pad so it's nice and juicy. I'm using some sterling embossing powder. Again, this is from Brutus Monroe. You guys, not all embossing powders are made the same. They just are not. And Brutus Monroe makes a quality embossing powder. So I go ahead and put the embossing powder on there. I'm taking the time to let my heat gun heat up. Yeah, really safe way right there. Put your hand over top of your heat gun. But I don't want to melt the vellum because this is not heat resistant vellum. This is just regular vellum. I also decide to emboss from the back, and you know, I just thought that that would be the thing to do since I was working on this vellum here. And then I just go over the top just to make sure all of it is embossed nice and cleanly. So at this point, my husband and daughters have come home, and he is talking to me, and I am struggling to get this coordinating die set out of the packaging. Like, I am struggling. So I just rip it open. I'm like, it's fine, it's fine. So I rip it open, and then I'm going to go ahead and place it on top of my trees. And I go off and die cut my trees, and here we have them. It's so, so gorgeous. I am going to trim it down so that it fits on the inside of my 4x6 card. Now, this is when I realize, wow, I'm not going to have enough space to put these trees on, put my photo on, put my number on, and my journaling, because I kind of have a lot to say about these trees. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to do this as a full page. Like, the top and the bottom 4x6 square is going to be just the one story. So I have decided on that. And then I'm like, wow, I've got a lot of green going on. I'm looking back at the book right now, and I feel like I've got a decent amount of green this year. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 greens on here. And then I am just figuring out what I can use. And that Holiday Memories sticker did not make it on the layout. I actually don't even know where, oh, there it is. It was stuck to the back of my album. So yeah, that's gonna have to go on another layout. Oops, completely forgot about it. That's okay. So now I'm looking at this and I'm trying to figure out what in the world I'm going to do. Now, that Deck the Halls tag was going to go on the layout, but I make the decision not to do that. I actually tried putting it on the layout later, but it doesn't end up on there. So this is where I'm like, wow, I have a lot of green on this page. I need to add some red. So I grab this striped piece of paper from the Vicky Bouton Warm Wishes paper pad, and then I decide that I need some sort of differentiation, some sort of outline between this Christmas tree paper, which is an old Simple Stories paper, and the striped paper. So I decide to just mat it on some black cardstock. Now, I did think about embossing the edges because I have done that a few times already in this album, but I'm like, I've got these embossed Christmas trees, so I don't really want to emboss the edges. I just want to have some sort of differentiation, some sort of barrier between the green and the stripes. So the black cardstock does it perfectly for me. And now I need to figure out my life, where I am going to figure out where the trees need to go. So first I trimmed down the tree, and it's got like this awkward line up gap type of little funky piece. So I trim that down, and then I go ahead and I trim the other side down as well. And what that's going to do is just span the inside card and not the entire 4x6 card. And I'm okay with that. I trim down the bottom here. I don't trim it very straight though. It's okay. So I go ahead and get that down, and I know that my number needs to go on here somewhere, and I really have no idea where it's going to go. Now I have these green wooden Christmas trees that have been in my stash for a while, and I was like, oh, somehow I'll overlap this here. Maybe I'll overlap it at the top. I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out how in the world I can make this green Christmas tree happen. As I'm thinking about that, I look over to my left, and lo and behold, there is a 3D Christmas tree sticker from Paper House, and I pull off the first layer of foam, and then I'm going to go ahead and place that right over top of my embossed Christmas trees. And I just love the way that this looks, you guys. I love the way that this looks so much that I feel like my number is junking up my card. Like, I'm like, why can't I just leave it like this? But I don't. I do end up putting the number down there. Now, since I have this pop of black down here on the bottom card, I figured I should introduce the black up at the top card as well. So I do a thin photo mat on my glass Christmas trees. Now, I did take this picture, it's on my kitchen counter, looking off into the dining room, and there is the dining room Christmas tree behind it. You really can't tell that it's a Christmas tree behind it, but I know it's there. I did use portrait mode on my phone. It's kind of weird, right? Like, I don't use portrait mode a whole lot, but you know, I used portrait mode to take a picture of some glass Christmas trees, but it's okay. Now I am looking for some sort of sentiment, some sort of tiny word, some sort of phrase to span the photo to the Christmas tree over here. So I'm looking around. I end up getting distracted by this little greenery sticker, and I decide that that is going to come out from behind the Christmas tree. No other reason than it's pretty and I want it there. There's no like design decision. There's nothing that is leading me to this way. I just like it. So I'm going to do it. I end up finding a sticker that says "A Beautiful Sight, Happy Tonight." And I just figure that that would be perfect. But first I'm going to mess around with the number 9. Here's where I'm like, ooh, I forgot the tag, and the tag isn't going to go. So it just gets tossed off to the side. Like, we don't need that. But here is that sticker that says a beautiful sight, happy tonight. So I'm going to span that from the photo to underneath of the Christmas tree. And I play around with the idea of bringing the 9 up here because, like I said, I really just like the way that this card looks with the Christmas tree. But ultimately the 9 does go down at the bottom here. It's just because I thought it was getting a little bit too crowded up at the top, and it was, compared to the bottom, it was just feeling a little bit stark, like a little bit too much at the top and just not enough at the bottom. So when I bring down the 9 here, it makes me happy. So now I'm going to do some journaling about these glass Christmas trees. And I just adore this trio of glass Christmas trees. They've been a part of our decor for years and years. I can't remember when we first got them, but they are a favorite of mine. Christopher doesn't really enjoy them, and that's okay. But we both like to pull the boxes out, exclaim over the fact that one of the trees came from the now defunct store Ames. And we do. Does anybody remember Ames? It was kind of like a Kmart. Or do you remember Kmart? A Walmart, a Target. Ames was definitely not, it was like a scaled down Walmart, kind of. I don't know how to describe it, but we used to have one. And fun fact, the Ames in Pasadena, Maryland, where that store was, is now actually a Walmart. So there you go. But anyway, and then I write secretly, I think he likes them now. Shh. He hasn't complained about them this year. He hasn't talked about how much he hates them or he thinks they're ugly. So I think he likes them. Or he's just used to them by now. I don't know. But they've been around for years and I just love them. If you guys know me, you know I love me a Christmas tree. We have glass Christmas trees, wooden Christmas trees, actual Christmas trees. So I just love them. Anyway, there it is, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for letting me get a little bit of happy back into my life by scrapbooking these Christmas trees. Because like I said, rough day, people, rough day. Be nice to your retail workers. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again real soon for another video.